The default mode network scientists still hide shorts, 880 words. Right now, deep inside your brain, your default mode network is quietly rehearsing every failure, every awkward text, every worst-case future you haven't even lived yet. And the neuroscientists who mapped it admit they cannot switch it off. It doesn't wait for a quiet moment. It waits for you to stop paying attention to anything else, and then it takes the wheel. By the end of this, you'll know the one rule that finally interrupts it. Here's what it's doing to you tonight. The instant your focus drops, in the shower, in bed, mid-scroll, this network wakes up and starts narrating, replaying the meeting where you said the wrong thing, simulating arguments that haven't happened yet, drafting apologies for mistakes you haven't even made. Scientists call this self-referential thought, but you just call it lying awake at 1 a.m., replaying a conversation from 6 years ago for no reason at all. It isn't random. It's your brain's default setting, switching on the moment nothing else demands it, and it defaults toward threat, regret, and rehearsal almost every single time. Two regions run this operation together, your medial prefrontal cortex and your posterior cingulate cortex, locked in constant conversation about you, your past, your image, your fears, your reputation. Brain scans show them lighting up the second a task ends, before you've even noticed your mind has left the room. It's expensive tissue, burning glucose to build simulations of futures that don't exist yet. It pulls memory fragments, stitches them into a story, and hands you the worst-case draft first, every time without asking. This is mental time travel, and it runs on autopilot, dragging you backward and forward while your body stays right here tense, going absolutely nowhere. Do this enough nights in a row and the circuit gets stronger, not weaker. Every rehearsal wears the groove in deeper, the same way a hiking trail forms from repeated footsteps and nothing else. The researcher who first mapped this network, Marcus Rachel, found something unsettling. It isn't a malfunction he could patch. It's baseline. It's the state your brain returns to by default, which means there is no switch to flip and no volume knob to turn down. Tell yourself to stop thinking about the argument and the network gets louder, not quieter. Psychologists call this ironic process theory. The harder you suppress a thought, the more forcefully it resurfaces, like pressing down on water. Willpower doesn't touch this circuit. It was never built to. Rachel's own team admits on record that decades after discovering it, they still can't switch it off from the outside, only redirect it. And that's precisely why the standard advice keeps failing you. Here's the part that flips everything you've been told. You've probably heard meditation silences this network. Clear your mind, empty the noise, find the blank space. But scans of experienced meditators show something stranger. Their default mode network doesn't go quiet at all. It stays active, but starts syncing with attention regions instead of running alone in the dark. Beginners who force blankness often spike rumination instead, because trying not to think is still a thought about thinking. The fix was never silence. It was never emptying the mind in the first place. The rule high performers actually use is this: hijack the network with external, moderately demanding attention, not rest, not blankness, something specific enough to occupy it without stressing it further. Neuroscientists call the opposing circuit the task-positive network, and it runs in direct opposition to the default network. When one lights up, the other goes dark, almost like a seesaw. Elite performers exploit this constantly, often without knowing the mechanism. Before high-stakes moments, they don't try to empty their minds. They give their minds a narrow, external job, counting exhales, naming 5 colors in the room, tracing the stitching on a jacket sleeve. Nothing emotional, nothing self-referential, just specific enough to pull attention outward and hold it there. Within seconds, the rumination loop drops out, because the brain cannot run both networks at full strength at the same time. This is why elite athletes fixate on a single point before a shot, why surgeons narrate their own hands mid-procedure, why pilots run checklists instead of just staying calm. They aren't managing emotion directly. They're starving a circuit of the fuel it needs to hijack them. Tonight, when your mind starts replaying the day, don't fight it and don't try to go blank, both of those feed it. Instead, pick one external, physical detail in front of you and describe it in your head with real specificity. Its texture, its edges, its exact shade of color. Hold that description for a full 30 seconds. That's long enough to force the task-positive network online and knock the default network out of the driver's seat. Do it the moment you notice the spiral starting, not 20 minutes after it's already taken you somewhere dark. But the default mode network isn't working alone in there. The instant it goes quiet, another structure is already waiting to take over, one that decides, in a fraction of a second, whether what you're feeling right now is safe or something worth panicking about.